Hi, my name is Catherine Roseland, here with Board Game Geek TV at Spiel 2013. I'm sitting here with Jakub Wajlewski and Piotr
Żuchowski.
There we go.
Yeah.
From
Right.
Historical Games Factory, and they're here to talk about their new game, Sigismundus Augustus, the glory of the god of, no, the glory of the King of Poland.
By the
By
grace
the
of God.
grace of the King of Poland. There we go.
By the grace of God, the King of Poland.
God, the King of Poland. There we go. So, do you want to give me a general overview of how the game works?
Yeah. Basically, it's a game that combines a lot of different mechanics because we can describe it in general terms as a little bit of a Euro game with lots of strategy, lots of politics, a little bit of intrigue, backstabbing, and if you like negative interaction in games, you will definitely love this one.
This is the game for you, basically.
This is like a simulation of being an actual 16th century noble in Poland. So
I
a lot
see.
of backstabbing, a lot of scheming,
Lots of
a lot of
intrigue.
things to think about.
We are, as the players, we are the heads of noble families in Poland, and we struggle for the influence in the king's court. And our aim is to get prestige points that we mark in this track, and we get them via different actions that we do in our game. So, for example, we can get glory points, but having influence in our neighboring countries,
Yeah.
but also by sending our troops to combat other players. What else? We can sometimes even buy our the support of the nobility. So there are very many different ways to achieve victory in 16th century Poland.
Yeah, sounds great. So how long will a game take to play, approximately?
It's definitely the heaviest game we've got so far and the most complex and the longest one. So if you know the game well, it should be around 2 to 3 hours of playing. But if you sit down and have just the first game ever in Sigismundus, ever in your life, be prepared for something like 5, 6.
All right, okay. So it can go for a while.
Yeah, but it's definitely worth it.
This is our title for hardcore gamers.
Definitely. So how does a round of gameplay go?
How does the round go? First of all, we make some preparations within the initiative phase. For example, the first thing we need to do in the game, each round, is drawing a card that will represent the act of the law that will be later on voted for in Parliament, which in Poland is called the Sejm.
All right.
And the voting phase is generally one of the most important, but takes place at the end of the round. So maybe we'll skip it for now. The other thing is the royal demand. So we draw a card saying what is the king's wish from the nobility, and he may demand our money, our votes, or our troops in order to organize the noble host. And also we draw 3 figures cards that will be available for this round. And the figures are actual people who lived in the 16th century, and they are famous politicians or artists, or generally influential people of the era, and we can secure their support for our case, for our family. The next thing is collecting income and cards, which is quite a usual thing in most games. But then we've got the special actions phase, And in special actions, we can play our cards, and there are 3 types of cards. So, internal policy, foreign policy, and military policy. And by taking special actions, we can either influence our own position, so boost our family. We can make better contacts with our neighbors, or we can just attack other players to take money from them, to take glory points from them, or just take their cards, for example. Then we go to the foreign policy phase, and this is where we put our tokens on the neighboring countries. That will bring us, in the future, different profits, because each neighboring country brings us something else.
Okay. Which is explained by these symbols on the board.
It's explained by the symbols on the board. So, for example, here we just have more money, we draw more cards, etc., etc. And one of the most important phases of the game, apart from the parliament phase, is actions. This is when the client pawns come into play. Clients in 16th century Poland were like the poor guys who had to do many different things for the noble ones. And for example, we can send our clients to different areas of the board, and each of these fields gives us another new possibilities. So again, we can gain money, we can draw more cards, we can buy more military units, or for example, secure the support of famous personalities. Of course, when we take such a figure card in our hand, we can put some money on this figure, because if we don't secure this man, when another player puts his client in this field, he can just add 1 coin and bribe him. So exactly, he has to pay 1 coin more. So if we
already 3 coins there, you have to add 4.
Yeah, exactly.
If there are no coins there, it's just 1 coin for him, and then he's his.
Yeah.
So basically, these guys are very beneficial to you, but taking them is pretty risky, especially in the beginning, because if you pay too little, another player is going to steal them from you, and they are one of the biggest source of prestige points in the end of the game.
Can you choose freely from them when you go here, or do you have to take the top one?
There are always 3 available each round.
So at the beginning of each round, we set up 3 to
and
choose
if all
from.
3 are taken, and someone's going to try and steal yours.
Yeah.
And after taking our actions, we go to the parliament phase, and this is when the votes appear, and what we do is a series of several votings for different things. We will pass the acts of law. We will vote for senatorial offices. Maybe I'll just put a few here. And the senatorial offices are the cards that give us some additional benefits, and they're divided into 3 categories. The church offices, land offices, and court offices.
Okay.
So it also depends on how important they actually were in history, because all of these offices are actually taken from Polish history.
Fantastic.
The voting mechanic here is one of the truly original things around here, because each player gathers up their votes first based on their influence. We have the influence marked on 3 tracks here. Basically, this represents our influence with the king.
Yeah.
with the Senate and with the
Nobility.
and each of those gives us some votes, the number here. Once we gather up the votes, then the fun comes, because this is a 3 to 5 player game, and usually some players have more votes, some players have little votes, and they have no hope of actually getting one of those offices. But what they can do is they can sell votes to the other players. So in the beginning of voting, each of us sets up a hidden amount of gold in their hand. We show it to all the other players, and then the other players in turn, starting from the one who has the most votes, can sell you the votes for this amount of money. So actually, on the one hand, you can get the voting power from here, but if you're rich, then you have the voting power of others.
Exactly. Very interesting.
And finally, after the parliament session ends, the last thing is the royal demand. So we, again, if the demand is, for example, army, we take our army tokens in our hands, reveal them, and whoever gets the most moves to the first position in the royal support track.
Okay.
And that's basically it. The last thing we do in a round of the game is maintaining the army, because if your army is strong and there are very many soldiers, you obviously have to pay them, they have to have something to eat and so on. So you maintain the army. If you don't want to maintain the army, you just don't pay for it. And this is how we play exactly 8 times when we choose the long version of the game, or 4 times when we play the short version.
Okay, nice. And how long will a short version of the game take?
Well, usually 1.5 hours.
Let's say 2 hours it's safe. It's safe to say 2 hours.
And the long version will take?
Around 3.
Around 3. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Anything you want to add at the end?
What can we say more? It's a really heavy game. It's a really complex one. But if someone is very much into planning and into controlling what actually is going on the board,
Then this is the game for you.
this is the game for
Yeah.
you.
Then it's a very rich game with a lot of mechanics to take care of. You have the voting, you have the army, you have the offices to control, influence tracks, a lot of things to track, but a lot of reward for doing it. So
Thank you very much. That was
you.
Sigismundus Augustus from Historical Games Factory. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
thank you.